Pal podcast, where we can help you build confidence with your orthopedic evaluation and management skills. We hope you enjoy the show. And now, for your host, Paul Marquis.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 174 of the Ortho Eval Pal podcast. I'm your host, Paul Marquis, and today we're going to be talking about rocker bottom shoes and who needs them. I'll be talking about one simple shoe recommendation here that can make a huge difference in a person's life. We'll be reviewing how rocker bottom shoes work, and we'll be talking about who is the perfect candidate for a rocker bottom shoe, along with the different types of diagnoses that we like to treat with a rocker bottom shoe. But before we do that, I'd like you to hold on for a second so we can hear a word from our sponsors.
Do you experience leg and foot fatigue when standing for long periods of time? A Maine doctor and the company he founded, Mainly Technology Group, have created a high-tech, all-terrain, chemical-free sock designed to reduce fatigue. The Easy Glider sock has a graduated compression weave to keep blood flowing and to keep you energized. Created by Dr. Lee Thibodeau, the Easy Glider is also frictionless, lightweight, warm, extremely durable, and wicks away moisture. The socks will stay fresh for days, thanks to the organic antimicrobial agent chitosan. Easy Glider is the only sock you'll ever need for sports, work, and leisure. To find out more, visit EasyGliderSocks.com. That's EasyGliderSocks.com. Did you know that over 90% of foot and ankle problems are caused by a tight calf muscle? Introducing the Easy Slant, a durable, adjustable, and portable calf stretching device. The Easy Slant was designed to increase stretching compliance and get you back on your feet and feeling better faster. So if you work with patients seeking to ease or avoid foot pain, or clients who want to improve their athletic performance, look no further. Visit EasySlant.com to learn more or order yours today. Enter coupon code OEP for a 10% discount on your first Easy Slant.
Welcome back. So before we get started today, I'd like to ask a huge favor of you. I'm in need of some feedback, and I do this periodically because unlike YouTube where you can give, a thumbs up or a thumbs down and leave some comments and ask some questions, podcasting doesn't allow for such easy access for giving that type of feedback. So OEP has, continued to grow and evolve, and we want to make it better. We want to give you better content. So I'm asking that you just take a minute, if you wouldn't mind, connect with me by email, which I'm going to leave in the show notes, and leave me some feedback. And it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. I want you to be completely honest. Maybe you don't like the recording volume, or the topics aren't interesting. Maybe I talk too fast. I know it's not because I talk too slow, I've been told. And is the podcast too long? Is it too short? Would you like to hear more interviews? Whatever it may be, I can take it. Trust me. I love getting constructive criticism, and and by doing that, I'll be able to improve on whatever it is that we need to improve on. Also, have no way of knowing who my audience is. So if you do send me an email, please let me know, drop in there, what your profession is. If you're a PT, OT, strength and conditioning coach, maybe you're an athletic trainer or a nurse practitioner, PA. You could be a physician, a massage therapist, construction worker, pole dancer, whatever it might be. Let me know what you do so that I can kind of customize our podcast to satisfy our audience a little bit more. All right. So if you could do that, that would be just super great, and I would really appreciate that. So on with our topic today, we're going to be talking about rocker bottom shoes, and I'll tell you, this is funny because I had this all lined up and ready to go. Notes were all done. I had to make a run to Lowe's. As I'm walking through the parking lot, a former patient of mine says, I have a beef to hold with you. He says, you remember those rocker bottom shoes you recommended to me? And I was thinking to myself, oh no, this is going to be bad. My wife was with me. She's a physical therapist also. I said, this is going to be an ugly situation. But he said, my son got a hold of those shoes and I can't get them back. He's 21, and he says he loves them so much he's not giving them back. So now he has to go out and buy a new pair of rocker bottom shoes. I was just totally blown away by that because you aren't going to see too many 21-year-olds in rocker bottoms, but they are very, very comfortable, and they can be very helpful. When I think of rocker bottom shoes, I look at them more as a tool to get patients better, than a piece of footwear. People go into a store and they're looking for shoes and sneakers and whatnot. When I recommend that somebody gets a rocker bottom shoe or sneaker, it's because I really like to treat different problems with it. And to be honest with you, one time I went into several shoe stores and shoe departments, like LL Bean and factory outlets and these different types of places. And I asked the people who were working in the shoe department, I said, do people come in and just buy shoes? Or do people generally come in and say, I have this problem with my foot. What kind of shoe can I wear? And I had people tell me that up to 75 to 90% of people came into the shoe store looking for a shoe or a sneaker that could help with their foot and ankle problem. So, I think there's really more to this than just putting a pair of shoes on that look, cute and pretty or whatever. So it's important that we kind of, customize these things for folks and try to fit the shoe for the different problem that they have. So, a rocker bottom shoe, it's pretty self-explanatory, right? The bottom of the shoe is in a rockered position. I want to point out that not all of these rocker bottom shoes are created equal. I think you'd probably all remember several years back when this particular company made this shoe that was quote unquote made to tone the butt and thighs, and that rocker bottom was really soft and unstable. It was a false advertising issue, and they were shut down for doing that. But a good rocker bottom shoe will have a really nice thick sole. And if you take the shoe and hold it in your hand, so basically the toe part of the shoe in the palm of one hand, the heel in the other, and you try to fold the shoe in half, a good rocker bottom shoe will not fold very easy. And also, if you try to twist it from front to back, you're going to notice it's not going to twist very easy. Usually these shoes are quite solid. They used to be pretty big and pretty bulky. They're still a little bit on the larger side, but they're certainly not as heavy as they used to be. And so a good rocker bottom shoe will be a little bit wider and have just this nice rocker that is good and solid. So what are some of the types of diagnoses that I like to recommend for these types of shoes? Well, one of the big ones is chronic plantar fasciopathy. Now, I treat a lot of plantar fasciitis. I've treated thousands of them in my career, and I've had really good success treating them. But you do get one once in a while where they're difficult to treat. And it's going to be, one of those deals where you're just having a hard time getting them better. They really don't want to have surgery, but they've got to be on their feet all the time. And so what we do is we will put them into a rocker bottom shoe and oftentimes get immediate results with that. Now, some of these folks will have a hallux rigidus, that significant pain of the first ray, when it goes into extension, like when you're trying to kneel down and your toe is being extended on the floor, that can be a problem. And so these folks do awesome with a rocker bottom shoe. People who have Morton's neuroma and metatarsalgia, they get these problems because their calves are too tight and they don't have really good dorsiflexion. So they spend a lot more time on the forefoot and as a result, cause a lot of trauma there. So again, another way to take some pressure off of that forefoot. I'll also use it with people with Achilles tendinopathy. And really, this is a big one here. People with ankle arthritis who have, difficulty dorsiflexing because the ankle is arthritic, or people who have had ankle fusions will also do very well in a rocker bottom shoe. Now, if anybody has to wear something like an Arizona splint or a brace that completely holds the ankle in a stiff position, maybe at 90 degrees, like a gauntlet or Arizona brace, these folks will do better in a rocker bottom shoe. So why is that? Why do these work with these particular diagnoses? Well, when you have people who have loss of ankle dorsiflexion and there is stiffness in the joint and or the calf and Achilles are too tight, something has to give. Either you're spending too much time on the forefoot because you have too much dorsiflexion tightness and you're not dorsiflexing well enough, or the tissues under the foot are getting overstrained, the Achilles is probably taking on a little bit more pressure, and so some people may not agree with this, but I do whatever it takes to gain ankle dorsiflexion with all of these patients. I do slant board stretching, and I really am diligent with this 3 to 4 times a day for 4 to 6, sometimes 8 weeks, getting a good stretch, optimizing dorsiflexion. But if you cannot get that dorsiflexion back, then it's a good time to get somebody into a rocker bottom shoe. Or if they have no choice, they say, my feet are killing me, but I have to get to work. I need to be able to be on my feet all day long. Then you go ahead and try this. One of the downfalls to wearing a rocker bottom shoe is oftentimes they're quite pricey. But think about it. You can't walk on your hands all day long, right? And you need to be on your feet. So sometimes it costs you a little bit more to take care of your feet. But if it makes you more functional and it keeps you more active, then it is well worth it. And I always tell people, don't skimp on shoe wear, because it's very important that you wear something that can keep you going. Okay, that's super important. Some don't like the look of a rocker bottom shoe, and others get into them and say, this is the best thing that's ever happened to me, and I really don't care what it looks like, but it's allowed me to be flexible, functional, and move around a lot better. So, and then some people, the downfall to wearing a rocker bottom shoe is that they may skimp on the stretching. And I always tell people, if you're going to get into a rocker bottom, make sure you continue with your gastroc soleus stretching. Try to optimize that dorsiflexion as much as possible. So it's not really, you really shouldn't stop one and start using the other. Now, a little buying advice when you recommend somebody to go to a store to pick up a rocker bottom shoe, I usually tell them, get into that shoe, think about how your foot felt before you got into it, walk around a little bit, and then put the shoe on and start walking. And I would walk 5 to 10 minutes in the shoe. Now, you need to remember, this type of shoe is going to give you a structural change. So the way you feel when you're walking should change immediately. And most of the people that I send will say exactly that. Like, I put them on and I had significantly less pain underneath my foot. My big toe didn't hurt as much. And so that really sells it right there. Okay. So, but make sure they try them out. If they still continue to have a significant amount of pain and it does not change their symptoms whatsoever, then it may not be the fix for them, and they may need to, have surgery or have some other intervention. So, folks, that is my talk today on rocker bottom shoes. I'm a huge advocate. I use them a lot on my patients. I recommend them a lot. But I also make sure that I really try to take care of the cause first and not just treat a symptom. So I hope you all enjoyed the show today. Again, please feel free to send us some feedback. Please email me your questions. We'll put them on the show and try to answer your questions as well as we can. I really appreciate you listening. Thank you and take care.
We hope you've enjoyed the show. For some more awesome content, go to orthoevalpal.com. Can't wait to see you there.